Hi everybody, I'm Zach and I like movies, and I am back again for another entry in my Letterboxd Criterion Challenge for 2024. And today's prompt was number 8, which was to watch a movie from Martin Scorsese's World Cinema Project. And it is one of these. This is one of the box set. There's like 4 now, but it's a box set that was based on this the World Cinema Project that Martin Scorsese established back in 2007, whose mission statement was to help expand the horizons of every moviegoers everywhere. Kind of what I do with this channel and these with this whole like series I'm doing. And it's been preserving and restoring lesser seen films from across the globe, and I just have the first one of these, and really just, and yeah, they have these what I've seen as being fascinating has been really eye-opening in some ways, of like, various cultures and various times, and seeing what like film, like how their various countries take on filmmaking, and it's really fascinating all around. And one of these is today's film. It is a melodrama that comes to us from 1960 South Korea, and it's called The Housemaid. And yeah, it's I kind of want to hold my tongue a little bit on this film, because so much of what goes on in this movie is really worthwhile when you kind of go in blind. And because it's one of those like twisted, dark melodramas where there's so many like reveals and turning and shifting character dynamics that keep happening, and it's a wild ride. So what it's mainly about, it's about a more middle class Korean family, where the father is a music teacher who like teaches lessons at this factory, where one day he receives a love letter, and he's a stern man. He's clearly bothered by it. He's married already, and he leaves. He sort of like basically shows it to like the foreman or whatever, and that leads to one of the girls that works there and goes to his music class, getting forced to leave the job, which there's a lot of stress worrying there with like financial insecurity and poverty, the threat of poverty, and at the same time we see the father how things are at home. They are living okay, but they're also like doing a lot of additional work in the house. They have a daughter who needs crutches to walk. The son's a little rapscallious. The wife is getting further along in her pregnancy, and it gets to the point where she keeps work, and she's also doing work as like sewing at a sewing machine, and she's like works all the time. She gets too overworked, and so they need a housemaid on top of the father bringing up taking at home piano lessons. So you have this housemaid comes in, who's you get a lot. There's a lot you can read into her, the way that just from the first time she like arrives at the place, she's kind of like almost like she's scrounging for food, and like they immediately sort of like associate her with a rat the rat that she finds in the cupboard. and then you have the piano student, who was the one who actually gave the note, who gave the love letter, and got another girl fired, and there's guilt there, compounded more guilt when there's a suicide, and that leads to this like really tense, these really tense confrontations where the student confesses her feelings to her music teacher, and he's like can't accept her love, and he just like totally stiffs armor, gives her the cold shoulder. Like, even says something like, why should I take the blame if some crazy girl kills herself? Like, whoa, whoa, yeah. And all that while, the maid is outside the window in the rain, staring and watching. And then then from there on, it just becomes this, like, this increasing cavalcade of with confrontations that have with such evocative sexuality to like how they're shot, and such like crazy again crazy escalating insanity, like to the point where, like, it's kind of like yeah, this is like a dark melodrama and all, but also, like, they kind of exist in the sense that, like, okay, people here are acting kind of stupid, but I also don't know, like, if there's, like, cultural commentary that I'm missing out on, because, like, I do understand that there was, like, a lot of this movie was, like, digging into a lot of, like, the, like, middle class, the rise of the middle class post the Korean War, around the time, and they have to keep, and the husband and the wife have to maintain their jobs and their status, because, you know, that could, you know, they have to keep things secret. They have to keep these developments under wraps, because that could lead to him losing his job, and there'd be, like, also social standing that they need to maintain, and there's a lot of juice here, like, especially in how it's shot. I was really consistently impressed with how this movie was shot, and how briskly it kept moving. Like this is the kind of movie that, like, has multiple lingering shots at the staircase. Like anytime somebody, anytime, whether, like, one of the kids or the maid, like, walks up the steps, it just has this, like, great, like, push in, following them, just, like, on, like, lingering on at the foot of the staircase. It's just telling you, like, oh man, you better get ready, brace yourself, someone's taking a fall, and you're gonna love it when that happens. And and when it does, it's like, it's both surprising but satisfying. It's like, oh my god, thank god. And, like, there's and yeah, a lot of the joy of this is just it's just, like, seeing the crazy turns just develop, and it gets so dark, and there's a lot of, like, obvious character symbolism, and, like, how the actors are blocked, and how even in the costumes, something as simple as, like, you know, the wife in this sort of, like, dressed in this, like, very, like, a traditional dress, you know, and it's white, it's, you know, she's matronly, she's loving, motherly, and then you have the maid in the same scene would be dressed in, like, a much more sultry black almost cocktail dress. It's even symbolism that's that obvious, it's effective. And, you know, when you have a movie like this that's all just running off on, like, high emotion and just insane character work, you just have kind of, like, the simple is what's most effective. And I also really love the recurring shots that it does take in, and not just with, like, the staircase. It has this really fun and wonderful sort of motif of, like, the camera pulling back outside of this window, like we're peering into this this family and even as it like we're peering into this family, and the more that it gets dissolved, it's like we're pulling back, because we're like, oh we want to see, but we also don't want to see, and it's always fun when the camera pulls back like that, and even when, like, you see from inside the house, and you see somebody, usually the maid, who's standing outside just staring through the window. It's like, it's surprising every time. But I would say there are some moments that do sort of like cause me to raise my eyebrow. Again, like, melodramas like this, like, they're kind of take it or leave, and sort of, like, not just, like, what happens, but how they escalated to that thing happening. like, yeah, ones that are all about like, I stole your baby after birth, blah blah blah. Like that doesn't happen here, but well, I don't want to say what happens here. But like stuff that really escalates like that is they always do like, okay, people don't act like this, even if it is being heightened for the drama and stuff and such. But and again, I also don't know how much is just like kind of how this sort of like style of Korean acting and filmmaking of the time that I'm just not aware of. And I also but there is also like a kind of an odd epilogue to it, where this movie has a framing device of the father reading a newspaper and basically reading the story, a story in the newspaper about something that's happened similar, like husband cheating on his wife and slept with the maid and they're all dead now. Oh no. But then then it comes back in a very shocking and surprising way, and then it just kind of ends with like him directly addressing the camera in a real like PSA kind of like public service announcement kind of way. Like, remember fellas, you might be getting on age. It's not like, we understand that guys are getting on in their age are naturally attracted to younger women. But remember, don't cheat on your wife, don't stick your dick in crazy. It was a little odd. It was just like, okay, I mean, I feel like we got the lesson. Like, yeah, don't cheat on your wife, or else this would happen. but yeah, it was a little silly. And I gotta say, like, the transfer of this is mostly really good. Although I would say there was like there's like a stretch in this film where you could tell that a reel was not exactly well preserved. It was not well taken care of, but they did do a good job. It's not unwatchable at all. You could just kind of tell, like, you could the grain and quality got kind of worse in a couple scenes, but yeah, it's mostly good. Yeah, it's mostly a beautiful film. It's wonderfully shot. It's a little, you can tell it's probably not made for like a whole lot of money. There's only like a couple sets and locations, but you don't need that much. You only need like, again. I love the layout of the house too. You really, and seeing this family and how they sort of work together and fall apart, and again, just how crazy this movie gets. I want you to experience that for yourself, and you should experience that for yourself. Like, whether you get like, this box set. This is edition number one, but you got a couple of these, a couple of the Martin Scorsese projects that are like available on the Criterion channel. There's like a subcategory for it, just for the World Cinema Project stuff. And yeah, highly recommend that. It's a really fun movie. Really fun movie. I can see why Martin loves it. And yeah, just good stuff, fun stuff, and definitely recommend that. Very always happy that something like the World Cinema Project exists. Gives me the chance to see these movies, share these movies. I think I saw one of the movie I reviewed a couple weeks back was on one of the other World Cinema Project ones. It was Pijoti from Brazil a couple weeks back, which I didn't love quite as much as I did this, but definitely glad I got to see it. And also on this is a great film that you can watch, a great Senegalese film that you can watch, that you could buy on its own individual Criterion Blu-ray. Tuki Buki, really good stuff. Great music in that, great, really surreal movie, and yeah, definitely recommend those. Recommend, anything that the god Scorsese recommends. It is immediately going on my watch list. And yeah, I think that'll be it. The Housemaid, 1960, South Korea, wonderful. And thank you again to the god Martin Scorsese for bringing it to my attention. And that'll be it. I'm Zach. I love movies. I have a lot more movies to watch. I got a big movie coming up soon, and Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and I will see you all later. You take care of yourselves.